Our next witness is Karen Madonia. Ms. Madonia is Chief Financial Officer of ILCO, Inc., a family-owned distributor of refrigeration, heating, air conditioning, PVF, plumbing, and hydronic supplies in Aurora, Illinois. She currently serves as co-chair of the Government Affairs Committee of the Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Distributors International. She is testifying today on their behalf. Welcome. You have 5 minutes to present your testimony.
Chairman Walsh, Ranking Member Schrader, and members of the Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Tax, and Capital Access, my name is Karen Madonia, and I am the Chief Financial Officer and next generation of ILCO Incorporated, a Chicago area distributor of heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment, parts, and supplies. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the estate tax and its effect on the many small family businesses which make up the United States economy. This is an issue that's very close to my heart as my family is in the midst of our own generational transfer. As background, ILCO was a very small company when my father purchased it back in 1973. At that time, my dad was only 32 years old with a wife, 3 daughters, and a mortgage, but he knew he wanted something more than just a job. He wanted to use his passion to create something permanent, to be in control of his own destiny. With help from my grandfather, my dad decided to take a risk and go into business for himself. In those early years, he worked every job at the company, and my mom filled in wherever needed. My dad worked 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. But his passion for the industry, his commitment to his employees, and his drive to grow his company empowered him to push forward, and 40 years later, he has a business that employs over 90 people in 3 states and generates almost $40 million in revenue. My sisters and I grew up understanding that if we wanted to be successful, we had to work hard and stay focused on our goals, and we carry that ethic with us every day as we work alongside our dad. While I take great pride in my dad's story, I realize that it's not necessarily unique. There are thousands of families that have similar histories, families who have decided to risk everything to pursue the American dream. Like my dad, they want to create something that lasts and that can be passed down to their kids and grandkids. I'm speaking today about my own family's experience, but I know that all family business owners have the same issue. How do I pass this business on to future generations without losing some or all of it to the IRS in the form of estate taxes? Each spring, I come to Washington with our trade association, Hardy, to talk to our representatives and senators about the issues that are important to my company and our industry. Every year, estate tax is my top priority, and I appreciate this committee's interest in this issue. Far too often, small business owners feel that there is a lack of understanding about this tax and its impact on job creators. The reality is that we're not talking about passing on bank accounts with million-dollar balances. These are businesses where most of the net worth is tied up in inventory, equipment, and real estate. In the case of ILCO, we carry an inventory valued at $10 million and accounts receivable of about $5 million. Our inventory has to be high. We provide vital heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration, parts and supplies to hospitals, schools, nursing homes, and grocery stores. When the refrigeration system in a grocery store goes down, it needs to be repaired within hours or the food is lost. When the air conditioning system in a hospital doesn't work, patients cannot be properly cared for until air is circulating again. The products that we sell must be on hand in order to facilitate quick repairs and replacements, which means that we have to carry a heavy inventory. We also own 5 buildings and operate a fleet of 26 trucks. After paying our taxes and making our annual profit-sharing contribution, the income that's left is put right back into the company so we can continue to carry an extensive inventory, extend payment terms to our customers, and maintain our fleet and our buildings. If something happened to my dad, we would literally have to sell parts of the company in order to pay the estate tax. That would likely mean shutting down branches, laying off workers, or liquidating inventory. Even worse, it could mean having to sell the entire company just to be able to pay a tax bill that only occurred because an owner died. Over the last few years, my dad has spent countless hours and entirely too much money trying to navigate the estate planning waters. Instead of focusing on growing his business, he has had to strategize about how to pass his company on to his kids without having to dismantle it. And if that isn't enough of a challenge, he's had to do it within an ever-changing tax landscape. We've gone from an exemption of $2 million and a tax rate of 45% in 2008 to an exemption of $3.5 million and a tax rate of 45% in 2009, to a full estate tax repeal in 2010, to an exemption of $5 million and a tax rate of 35% in 2011 and 2012. In 2013, the exemption is scheduled to fall back to $1 million with a tax rate of 55%. How can anyone formulate an estate plan if the rules are changing every year? In the business world, we need to think beyond the current year if we want our companies to thrive. We're typically looking 5 to 10 years out in our strategic plans, trying to move all the pieces on the board to better our chances for growth and prosperity. That's very difficult to do even in the best circumstances, but it's nearly impossible when Washington keeps changing the rules. The estate tax places an immense burden on small business owners by taxing them for creating and growing a business that outlasts them. In my opinion, it's a fundamentally flawed tax that discourages entrepreneurship, and it should be totally repealed. Absent that, I would ask that Congress consider maintaining the current personal exemption and gift and estate tax rates, and equally important, establish a more permanent solution to the estate tax issue. Small business owners take tremendous risk at great personal sacrifice, and they truly are the backbone of the American economy. They should be appreciated and encouraged. Allowing the estate tax exemption to fall back to $1 million and the rate to climb to 55% would absolutely devastate a great number of families who are currently working on generational transfers. I respectfully urge you to carefully consider all the ramifications of estate tax policy and establish a long-term solution that will allow for generational transfers of family businesses. And I thank you for allowing me to put a more personal perspective on the issue for you.
Thank you, Ms. Madonia.